Good evening and welcome to the Wildcat Sports Review, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Tegan Rasha alongside Saul Buckman, and we begin with what is widely considered the biggest sporting event in the country, and it featured one big performance by a former Arizona Wildcat.
That's right, Tegan. Nick Foles was the quarterback of the University of Arizona football team from 2009 to 2011. During that time, he passed for over 10,000 yards and threw for nearly 70 touchdowns. His time in the NFL was highlighted by his performance in the 2013 season, which garnered him Pro Bowl honors, while he threw for 27 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. But that was the peak. Over the next 4 seasons, he would go from Philadelphia to St. Louis and then to Kansas City before winding back up with the Eagles in 2017. He nearly gave up football and was on the cusp of being another backup quarterback. Carson Wentz's injury changed the fortunes of Nick Foles, who led the Eagles all the way to the Super Bowl this year against the New England Patriots. And what happened? Well, Foles threw for almost 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and even caught a touchdown to lead the Eagles to the World Championship, and he was named the Super Bowl MVP. But that's about it for Nick Foles and the football team. Let's move on to men's basketball, and Alec White has more with how the Arizona Wildcats are doing on the court.
29. I didn't think either of those teams was very good on defense. You know, if we were better, we had a chance to be really, really good. 3-1, and we're 106 right now.
Yeah.
Same practices, same.
Yeah.
Kale hasn't changed a whole lot, so we have to tweak, and you know, it's up to the coach. You know, sometimes what's worked in the past doesn't necessarily work with the current team. It's up to us to adjust.
Arizona men's basketball dropped to number 13 in the AP Top 25 polls this week after losing to Washington on a buzzer-beater 3, and the Cats allowed the Huskies to hit 8 3-pointers on the night. Despite the loss, Arizona will have a chance to take command of the Pac-12 Conference this weekend as they take on both LA schools UCLA and USC. UCLA is currently 4th in the Pac-12 standings with a 7-4 record, and USC is sitting right behind Arizona at 2nd place with an 8-3 record. The Bruins and Wildcats will face off on Thursday night at 8 p.m., and then Arizona will face USC on Saturday night at 8:15 p.m. as well. Both games will be on ESPN.
Thanks, Alec. It sounds like the Wildcats will be looking for redemption this weekend. Arizona baseball season is right around the corner, and they're looking to build off of last year's success. Here's Jack Cooper with all the details.
Arizona baseball is getting ready for the start of their season next week, and head coach Jay Johnson talked about what he's expecting from freshmen this year and also how the team is looking.
One of those years, where, mentally a player like that has to stay engaged for the whole weekend and has to do what our team needs him to do on offense to keep the lineup moving, to play good defense in the outfield, and there's a high demand on his improvement, and he knows it. And I think he's excited about that, and I'm excited to see how he responds to that.
Junior Alfonso Rivas is expected to be one of the best players, not just for Arizona or the Pac-12, but throughout the entire country. Just this week, he was named to the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association preseason All-America team. Only himself and 2 other players from the Pac-12 are on this list. Rivas was also named a 2nd-team preseason All-American by D1Baseball.com and a 3rd selection by Baseball America. Arizona Baseball is holding a Meet the Team event this Friday, February 9th at 6 p.m. at High Corbett Field, in which fans can meet their favorite players and get their autographs. And next week, on Friday, February 16th at 6 p.m., the Wildcats open their season against Bryant at High Corbett Field. For updates throughout the baseball season, follow me on Twitter at Jack Cooper.
Last season, the Arizona Wildcats softball team fell short in the Super Regional against Baylor by getting 2 out of 3 games taken away from them. This season, they have a whole bunch of new faces, and Max Cohen's here to tell us exactly how they're going to play a part in this year's team.
The softball team starts their 2018 campaign this weekend with 5 games in Tempe. Arizona kicks off its season with a doubleheader against Northwestern and Oklahoma State on Friday. They then take on UC Davis and Fresno State on Saturday, followed by New Mexico on Sunday. Arizona will look to answer several questions heading into this season. The Cats ended their last season with a devastating loss to Baylor in the Super Regionals. It will be important for Arizona to start strong and shed last year's disappointment. Additionally, there are several questions pertaining to position battles that will be answered this weekend. Alyssa Palomino and Joelle Christ are both fighting for starts at first base. Also, Jenna Keene looked to have center field locked down after a monster fall, but Alyssa Creighton transferred to Arizona from Louisiana Lafayette at the start of the semester, and Creighton will start in center. Keene is now fighting for the spot in left field. Arizona's first game is Friday morning at 11:30 on Pac-12 Network.
Thanks for the update, Max. This should be an exciting year for the softball team. Now, if we head on over to the tennis courts, David Skinner has an update for the men's and women's team.
The Arizona women's team continued their hot start this past weekend as they squeezed out a victory over the University of San Diego and dominated Grand Canyon University in the second half of the doubleheader to remain undefeated on the season. Talia Zandberg led the way for the Wildcats as she was named Pac-12 Player of the Week after dominating in the singles portion in both matches. The men's team fell just short on the road to Indiana in Bloomington as they slipped to a very respectable 5-2 record on the season. The women's team hosts the University of Nevada and the University of Houston in their third consecutive homestand, while the men head back on the road to Des Moines, Iowa, as they take on South Dakota State and Drake University. For up-to-date action on both men's and women's teams, follow me on Twitter at DavySkins_.
Now we head over to McHale as Serena Tracy is going to give us an update on the gymnastics team, who has a familiar face coming back this weekend.
The gymnastics team had a disappointing loss last weekend against the number 31 Cal Bears. The Gymcats finished with a score of 194.425, which was the lowest the Gymcats have posted this season. The loss against the Bears left the Wildcats sitting at number 25 in the NCAA. Senior Madison Cindric was able to lead the way for the Cats by taking home first place in both the all-around competition, earning a 39.225, and balance beam with a 9.875. Cindric was also able to grab a hold of a season and career high on vault with a 9.875. The Gymcats are back in the gym preparing for their next meet against number 20 Stanford on Sunday, February 11th at 12 p.m. With the Cardinal coming back to McHale also means welcoming back former head coach Tabitha Yim, who left Arizona for the coaching position at Stanford. Yim was head coach at Arizona for 2 seasons before leaving her alma mater in Palo Alto. Arizona has still yet to win a meet this season, and with another loss, John Court has closed off all media access in effort to create more focus and better effort against Stanford. The meet will also honor the 3 senior Gymcats along with hosting their annual Think Pink meet in honor of breast cancer awareness. You can follow me on Twitter at Serena_Tracy for all things Arizona Gymnastics.
Thanks, Serena. It should be an interesting meet for the Gymcats this weekend. This wraps up the Wildcat Sports Review. For updates on this coming weekend's events, check out dailywildcat.com.
For Tegan Rasha, I'm Saul Bookman. You can follow us on Twitter at Wildcat Hoops and at Wildcat Sports, along with follow us on Facebook as well. You can also download our app, which is dailywildcat.com, on any Android or Apple device.